Hey, my name is Shadowsense, and you're watching Vampire the Masquerade: Shadows of New York. It is our third night of being a vampire, or I guess technically 9 months, because there was a time skip between the time we were embraced and now. Because right now it's March 2020 when the world died. So technically it has been almost a year, but it did say night 3. So anyway, we're meeting an old friend. You might recognize him. Kadir Al-Azmai, the mighty sheriff of New York City, is not happy with me. No wonder. I met him in front of Elysium 30 minutes later than the time we had agreed on. Yeah, well, Catherine fucking Weiss decided to arrive fashionably late. Also, we're super hot. A likely story. She's supposed to be out of the city. If you think I'm pulling your leg, boss, feel free to check my report. I pass him all of the official papers, the way I do every other night. Kadir stares me down for a good few seconds, then his steely gaze softens. You're serious? Vice and McDonald's with the mask and elegant clothes, surrounded by the smell of french fries and hamburger patties? That must have been one hell of a sight. Technically, it was BBB, not McDonald's, but yeah. God, I made such a fool of myself. First thing I did, I quoted somebody calling her a weirdo. I wanted to die on the spot. Serves you right, you walking faux pas. I've been trying to teach you to control your tongue, but you never learn. It's a new gaffe every week with you. Still, there's good news and bad news. The good news is, Catherine has a fondness for vampires of humble beginnings. Probably why she decided to see you in your, shall we say, natural habitat. She's one of those rich art scene assholes who seek out the working class cred. I did say something about watching your tongue. The bad news is, she is very astute, so she can recognize a moron like you straight away. You never stood a chance at impressing her. Oh, shut up. Still need me for anything here? I'll get on it straight away. I wouldn't be standing out here chatting with you if I hadn't taken care of my duties. 30 minutes is all it took to finish preparations for the big party. I'm about to see everyone off. Sorry. Couldn't be helped, I suppose, and it's more your loss than mine. I just wanted some company tonight, and you could really use the chance to appear here on official duties so everyone can get to know your face. Heaven knows your fast food job isn't going to get you anywhere. You need to do, what do they call it? Hustle? You don't need to tell me that. But it's not like being paraded around for a bunch of blue-blooded douchebags is. He somehow manages to give me a painful nudge in the back without so much as a hint of visible movement. Language, you fool. They're coming out. Just stand here in silence for 5 minutes and focus on not embarrassing yourself any further, will you? Got it. The first two silhouettes appear in the doorway of the art hole. An old man in a wheelchair pushed forward by his young servant. Haven't seen either of them before. Mr. Payne, the night is still young. Hope you find the rest of it pleasant. Payne, the wheelchair. I've heard about him. Addison Payne, one of the American Camarilla's main connections to the government in Wall Street. Disabled in quite a few ways, needs a servant to communicate. I'd be full of resentment if I was embraced in this condition, but apparently Payne is nothing but grateful for his immortality. He keeps writing fervent defenses of the traditions and Camarilla customs. I'm just gonna do what Kadir said and stay quiet. He wordlessly shakes Kadir's hand, but doesn't even deign to acknowledge me. At least his servant gives me a small bow. I return it. They leave. Kadir turns to the next person leaving. Hi, Regent. Can't wait to see you in your outfit. Oh, it's Aisling. Hey! Spare me, Sheriff. These fancy dress parties caused me enough suffering without your help. I can only hope you haven't conspired with Helene to embarrass me with this gift. She points to a shrink-wrapped set of clothes she's carrying inside of her coat. Kadir smirks briefly. I didn't have to. As you well know, Prince Panhard displays a considerable foresight in the matter of party planning. Yes, if there's one thing she's deathly serious about, it's frivolities. A recognizably mortal quality, especially for a prince. We ought to celebrate it, not oppose it. Don't worry, Sheriff. I'm a big girl who knows her etiquette. I will play your game, amuse the crowd a little bit, and return to my study as fast as possible. Aisling Sturbridge, High Regent of the Chantry of the Five Boroughs, a hero of the Battle of New York, the biggest warlock in town, could be a prince herself if she didn't have her eyes on a bigger prize. Okay, what is warlock? All. Bring me all the way down. Did warlock not register in the dictionary? But it was blue. Oh, okay. It's part of Clan Tremere. The thing is, nobody knows what the prize is. They only know it had something to do with the goal of her thaumaturgical research. Whoever tried to find out what it is failed, violently. Oh, I'm sure you're going to have fun. Miss Sawinski here has just informed me that Catherine Weiss is back in town. It is safe to assume she'll join our festivities. You're kidding me. She sends her regards. Her negative reaction intrigues me, so I decided to give her another nudge. She told me to send her regards and that she absolutely can't wait to catch up. Cheeky. That hint of torment on her face is less than I was counting on, but it will do. Weiss. Excellent. I'd love to catch up with her. The barely concealed venom in her voice clearly suggests that in fact she'd hate to catch up with her. Yes, it looks like tomorrow night will be very special, but for now I bid you adieu. And she's gone. Is there some kind of story between Aisling and Weiss that I should be aware of? That part about sending regards. That was a bold-faced lie, wasn't it? An innocent one. Overselling someone's courtesies is just good etiquette. You're unbelievable. Well, I doubt High Regent Sturbridge took it as a courtesy, considering she once attempted to call for a blood hunt on Weiss. Wow. Why? Okay, new word, blood hunt. A punishment sentencing a vampire to final death at the fangs of their peers, the code of the kindred, and the system for punishing transgression is the law of retaliation. Oh! Wonder what Catherine did more at that. I've heard 5 different versions of the story and all of them seem plausible. Catherine's relationship with the city is odd to say the least, but hush for now. He's obviously trying to kill the conversation, and the appearance of Thomas Arturo. Oh, so he's back. He orchestrated all of the events of the last game. Why is he still here? The appearance of Thomas Arturo gives him a perfect way out. Mr. Arturo. Ah, Al Asmai. Keep up with the good work, eh? Of course. Thomas Arturo, an architect by trade. He's a herald, a member of Prince Panhard's inner circle, an eccentric whose thoughts seem to be 10 times faster than his words. Take care on your way home. Take care on the way to your haven, Mr. Arturo. Ah, yes. He disappears into the night. Well, that was brief. Maybe I should stand in their way. That might force them to properly acknowledge my existence. You severely underestimate their dedication to ignoring whelps like you. And just in case you're serious, I beg of you, don't. I've been meaning to ask you this for a while now, but never had the opportunity. You really hate Arturo's guts, don't you? He carefully measures his diplomatic response. I have no strong feelings about Thomas Arturo whatsoever. Yeah, well, considering you're always listing positives about every local Camarilla representative under the moon, you might as well call him a cunt. Language, whelp. And as for Arturo, I will share my opinion on him as soon as I come up with one that sticks for more than a week. A group of kindred emerges from the art hole, rushing towards the street. Only a noble-looking woman stops next to us. She's wearing a hijab, but curiously enough, she doesn't hide her hair beneath it. Primogen. If you were rude enough to stare, you'd quickly notice the cloth serves mostly to cover up her horrifying scars. Is she Nosferatu? Kadir. Oh, and young Julia. Doing my best not to stare because Samira is one of the few NYC Camarilla figures who hasn't been an asshole to me yet. Still here? Did the prince require the clan of the Hunt's council in some manner? What the fuck? So much. Oh, she's Banu Hakim. That makes sense. That makes sense. Yes, I advised her that no matter how hard she tries, she shouldn't expect me to wear a different costume tomorrow night. She's the Banu Hakim primogen. Just like the La Sombra, their clan was independent from the Camarilla until relatively recently. However, they negotiated a better deal than we did. They have a primogen, for one. Hailing from the Middle East, the Banu Hakim are drawn to the practices of justice. The rules must be upheld and every transgression punished. They don't have much say in NYC, but the prince often seeks their judgment. It's just good PR. I trust she was understanding. Those are beautiful clothes. Thank you so much. I'm eager to see the outfit you came up with. And how are you, Julia? Have you seen any lights at the end of the tunnel? Same old, same old. Same old, Samira. Just still wandering in the dark, bumping my shin every 2 steps. Sorry to hear that. I trust you're pestering the prince and your superiors to improve your standing. It's a process. Oh, Julia. You won't achieve anything if you don't keep reaching for it. Kadir, weren't you supposed to teach her the ropes? I'm trying to, Primogen, but with this child, it's always a process. I can only wish you good luck then. Good night, Julia. Good night, Kadir. Good night. Have a safe trip. The art hole has to almost be empty by now. You like her, don't you? Stop with your class clown act, whelp. It only serves to reveal deep insecurities. Wow, that's harsh. It's factual, whereas harsh as you claim. She did tell us both to call her Samira, but you're still keeping your distance with that primogen shit. Watch your profanity.
Watch your profanity.
And don't project your fantasies onto me. I won't give you a lesson about professional boundaries, but I suspect the way you will eventually learn it, will be extremely unpleasant. Whoa. Hey, buddy, something's up with your jaw. Am I interrupting something, good folks? Even though I'm constantly pestering him, Kadir's composure is unshaken. His response comes swift and unfazed. Not at all, Mr. Vanderweyden. Heading back to your office? You know me, my dear sheriff. Where else would I go? Now that's curious. Although Carter Vanderweyden is a primogen as well, Malkavian to be precise, I don't hear Kadir address him as such. Hope to see you tomorrow night. Oh, I will absolutely show up provided I can. But just in case, I already apologize for not making it to the prince. Simply drowning in work these days. The rhythms, tempo, and intonation patterns of his voice are so familiar. Half of it sounds like JFK, the other half, exactly like Barack Obama. Just like his appearance, it all feels so fake. He's old money, of course, comes from a long line of Dutch merchants who originally settled in the New York region, runs a wildly successful law office, rubs elbows with elites of both kindred and kind varieties alike. He seems perfect in every way, and that's why he's so unnerving. He's a child of Malkav, and must be blighted with some affliction, but whatever it is, he doesn't let it show. Hard not to wonder what he's hiding. The celebrations are planned to last all week. Surely you will find time? I pray I will, my good man. I pray I will. In case you need to reach me, you know just where to find me. Have a good one. He doesn't even register my presence before leaving. Sometimes I think they're all still hoping I will simply go away. As Carter drives away in his limousine, Kadir shakes his head. You wanted to hear about which member of New York City's Camarilla I dislike the most? Yes? He shoots me a knowing glance and smirks. Too bad. They're all dear colleagues and I deeply respect every one of them. Sure you do. Want to blurt out something that could lock you out of Mr. Vander Wyden's legal services, would you, you ass kisser? I do expect to find myself in need of a good defense attorney when my broke, incompetent, and foul-mouthed assistant finally pushes me over the edge. Rude. Do you still need me here? I still need to swing by St. Patrick's tonight. Don't worry, we're almost done. The prince is coming out. The captain is the last person to leave the ship, huh? And there she is, Helene Panhard, the big kahuna, as someone I once knew would call her, the de facto ruler of New York City and self-professed patron of the arts. Kadir, a penny for your thoughts. You should be pleased to hear the High Regent is resigned to her fate, my prince. Mr. Vander Weyden is decidedly not. I suspect he will be too busy to join the festivities all week through. Excellent. She turns to me. Miss Sawinski, weren't you supposed to accompany our good sheriff in his duties tonight? There was an unexpected change of plans. Catherine Weiss is back in the city. Catherine is here. Now that's a welcome surprise. But what does that have to do with you, Miss Sawinski? She said she didn't want to trouble you with all the paperwork regarding her arrival, Prince Panhard. It's all been taken care of. Kadir has already been informed of everything. That's certainly a nice gesture, but... Wait a minute now. Where exactly did you meet her? In a fast food restaurant, my prince. I see. Helene rubs her eyes. Catherine and her love for proletarian amusement. I suppose it would be a source of amusing anecdotes this week. If we want to avoid these situations in the future, it might be a good time to discuss offering Miss Sawinski an office of her own. We'll get to it, eventually. There are more pressing matters at hand. The festivities start tomorrow, and there's still so much to be done. Will you make sure the art hole is secure before leaving? Certainly, my prince. Have a good night. Good night, Kadir. Good night, Miss Sawinski. We'll talk about your work soon, don't worry. Of course. Good night, Prince Panhard. A chauffeur escorts her to a limo. There's an awkward silence between me and Kadir until the car disappears around the corner. More pressing matters, huh? A penny for your thoughts, Sheriff? I'm certain an image of a keeper of the Elysium stuck in a fast food restaurant will linger in Prince Panhard's mind. You're far closer to your goal than you were a few minutes ago. Pretty sure I've heard you say something to that effect a few times now. And I stand by my words. Rome wasn't built in a day, Julia. As a Camarilla loyalist, don't you think it sucks that the Ivory Tower is so hell-bent on showing disrespect to my clan, they're actually willing to make fools of themselves in the process? We've all had to endure our own hazing rituals, but yes, the current situation is not ideal. Whatever. You need a hand closing up the Elysium? I'll manage. It's getting late. Better run. Some shadow in Chicago is probably impatient to get a copy of the reports you've given me. You've pleased one master, now it's time to please the other. Yeah, here's the thing about working for two masters. Neither of them really thinks of you as their own. Not knowing how to reply, Kadir shrugs. I wave to him goodbye and head for the subway. When I reach St. Patrick's Cathedral, I'm greeted by a voice that grates on me like teeth on tinfoil. Oh, I just thought about that. Hate that. Oh, that's a bad sound to imagine. Was he in the last game? I can't remember. Well, the prodigal, I don't know. The prodigal daughter returns. Fuck, that's hard to say. Oh my god, no. This is the one thing I didn't want to happen. Julia, please, thou shalt not take the name of the Lord thy God in vain. Uh-huh. Where's Father Leonard? His clergy duties kept him from getting here on time. He sent me to apologize in his name and keep you company for a few minutes. That's the second thing he ought to apologize for. He just wants his flock to live in unity. I'm more than willing to oblige him. Why won't you? For the last time, I'm not a part of his flock. We have a purely professional arrangement. I know you see it that way. The Knight Clan's tendency to stick close to the Catholic Church is their greatest virtue, but they still consider this relationship purely instrumental. This is why we need kindred like you to bring up the spiritual change to your clan, to make them understand God's precious gifts. The closer they'd get to the light, the greater their shadows would become. Again with his insufferable sermonizing. Benoit Segal here is a local nutjob and ex-artist, a degenerate who had some sort of complete mental breakdown in the 90s. To recover, he took to religion for solace and guidance. Ah, like the best of them. What's a degenerate in vampire terms? Not really Toreador, right? Because that just sounds mean. Okay, no, that's Clan Malkavian. Also plenty of several divas and influencers. Painters. Oh, okay, yeah. So, yeah, he's probably Toreador then. Ex-artist. Probably Toreador. At first, he proclaimed his readiness to devote the rest of his unlife to studying Nodism. After a few years, though, he changed his mind and joined the Catholic Church instead. As luck would have it, his neophyte's zeal found a major target in me. When I first met him, I was stupid enough to tell him I was raised Catholic and still identified as such somewhat. He immediately pictured me as some force for change within the Camarilla and set out to put me back on the righteous path. Now he won't stop preaching to me apparently until I become a nun. Remember, the darkest place is directly beneath the candle. You turncoats have this unfortunate predisposition to find salvation right within your grasp and then lose your way in shadows. Christ, once he starts, he just won't stop. Guess it's time to bring out the big guns. By the way, I was meaning to ask, got any news about Sophie Langley? A painful grimace crosses his face but doesn't linger. Kind of rude to change the subject, you know. Rude? Just looking for a topic both sides of this conversation would care about. You know, like any guide on etiquette says you should. Salvation is a topic close to anyone's hearts, whether they admit it or not, and it's pretty bold of you to assume I still care about Langley. I do not assume, I'm certain you do. The second she retires from the public eye, you stop acting like Yeezus-era Kanye and start acting like Jesus King-era Kanye. Coincidence? I've never had a Yeezus-era. Do people really call it that? Here's how it's going to work. Tell me what you know, I'll tell you what they say, and keep in mind, I didn't know she was your sire until a few nights ago. Hell, I haven't even met her. He winces a bit at me saying hell, but lets it go. Sure, I figure you would have prodded that wound long ago if you knew, but what do you care anyway? Better to let you drone on about your tormented past than let you carry on with your good missionary shtick. Professional curiosity, once a journalist, always a journalist. He scratches his head, then exhales a sad mockery of a chuckle. Fine. I'll do my best to make it short. Just like you said, Sophie Langley, every New York kindred's beloved socialite, was my sire. We first met sometime after World War II. I left France right before the Nazis went around the Maginot Line. I don't know how you pronounce that. I struggled to keep my siblings alive with my art, and watched my brother die during the flu epidemic of '43. I was close to losing my mind. That's when she showed up. Said the sheer torment in my work caught her eye. She became my patron, allowed my talents to flourish, and then supported me financially. Eventually, she embraced me. As a well-off kindred, my artistic interests started to naturally deviate from what they used to be back when I was a poor mortal upstart. I began to see the world the way her social circle does. And that she couldn't forgive. Instead of just being a fun novelty, I became just another part of the malaise surrounding her. She grew distant and then stopped seeing me altogether. I've had my share of meltdowns because of this, I won't deny that. I locked myself out of many career opportunities, but it was an important lesson. Don't trust your elders. Vampirism affects them psychologically as well. If they take interest in you, they won't stop until they suck your soul dry and then discard you like a broken toy. For the first time since I've known him, Segal registers to me as something other than a Bible-thumping nuisance. Is it compassion I feel? Do I find him relatable? How dreadful. It's possible he's strategically trying to elicit sympathy. Maybe he heard about my dramatic exit from Lodestar. Or maybe he's just alluding to the way my sire left me here to fend for myself. It is only God who will never lead you astray. This is why I find your act so frustrating, Julia. You're so close to getting it, but you choose sin instead. There's the Benoit Segal I know. Almost had me fooled. Let's get back on track. What about Langley's disappearance from the city? Her path was a road to perdition. Wherever she ended up, I doubt she's too happy about it. She had plans for the future of this city. Wanted to make it her ultimate artwork. She was always the vain one. And of course, you are completely sure you have nothing to do with her disappearance? Please don't tell me you're getting at what I think you're getting at. Everybody says you've been acting like you try to repent for something ever since her vanishing act. And you've got a motive. Of course, I'm getting at what I'm getting at. Benoit shakes his head. You really have the devil in your heart, Julia. Always testing me. Just asking what everyone's thinking. Are they now? Listen, I'm familiar with a lot of the insults attached to my name in this city. Those aren't exactly compatible with the image of a ruthless killer. Killer, huh? Now that's interesting. I haven't said anything about killing. He scrubs his hands over his forehead and collects himself before responding. Stop picking apart every word I say in this completely unpleasant way. Here's a statement if you really want one, Miss Hercule Poirot. Again, don't know how to pronounce that word or name. I do believe Sophie, the way I knew her, has met her end. Even if she's still walking this earth, she wouldn't come back here as some prideful aristocrat. She'd have to undergo a spiritual rebirth. Someone has reminded her of her place. Her former friends talk of her in hushed voices. Even that servant play toy of hers went missing. That's us from the last game. No more Camarilla parties. She's done for. Whatever happened to her, I don't know. I swear on Jesus and his sandals that I had nothing to do with it. But yes, I'm still here and she's not. And it's not a reason to gloat, but to be more humble. I received a sign from God telling me to re-examine all of the unfortunate ways I still resemble Sophie Langley. And I listened. I rejected the pride I shared with her. I renewed my vows to God, recommitted to preaching his greatness. I mean, this is why we're having this conversation in the first place. Right now, when I think of Langley's influence on my life, I am grateful because she was a sign that got me here. And if God wills it, maybe one day you'll look at her the same way, Julia. Mental note, whenever he circles back to his preachy tone, it's time to intervene. Alright. If it makes you feel any better, I think that the only way a wimp like you could have hurt her was by boring her to death with Bible quotes. Now then, quid pro quo, tit for tat. You were saying people still talk about me. I was curious if... Oh, look who's finally here! Stalling for time worked. Father Leonard rushes in our direction carrying a... Oh god, excuse me. Carrying a folder of documents under his arm. I assume it's the one I came here for. Father Leonard. Christ be praised, Julia. Yesterday I was told this is how priests greet their parishioners in Eastern Europe. Forever and ever, amen. Actually, I think we said each other's lines. Never mind. Another long night. Isn't it taking a toll on you? No need to worry. These days, I sleep a few hours a day, short naps take care of the rest, and there's always work to be done. I apologize for being late. At least I managed to get here before you and Benoit went for each other's throats. Good, I was getting worried. Oh, what do you take me for, Father? Takes you for a total bozo who's about as effective at converting people as a documentary about pedophilia in the Catholic Church. He's just too kind to say it out loud. Ouch! Hear what I have to deal with, Father? But don't worry, we'll make a saint of her yet. Forget saint. For now, I'd settle for an adult in the room. You do remember he's at least 70 years older than I am, right? As far as I'm concerned, growing up has far less to do with age than with the conditions of our formative years. Here. He gives me a folder he was carrying with him, and I pass him the reports I wrote earlier tonight. Among kindred, it is common knowledge that the Catholic Church is one of La Sombra's greatest assets. Hell, it might even be one of the main reasons the Camarilla is slowly warming up to the clan. We are technologically impaired, and as such, woefully unprepared to face the challenges of communicating in the 21st century. Hard to handle advanced encryption when you can't even unlock a smartphone. This is where the Vatican connections enter the picture. A web of priests scattered all around the world exchange our dispatches between each other, making sure they all reach their destinations in total secrecy. I was told not everyone in the Holy See is friendly to our kind, but the most shrewd and talented usually are. You could say they're like a mortal Camarilla, better than any intelligence agency. Remember what happened to John Paul I when he attempted to uncover the workings of the Institute for the Works of Religion? Death after 33 days of papacy, rumors of CIA and Masonic involvement. Not that Father Leonard has anything to do with any of this. For a Catholic priest, he's alright. He'd probably have me stay a believer a few years longer than I did had I known him as a teenager. Leonard is intelligent, kind, helpful towards his parishioners, treats his superiors with a healthy dose of skepticism, and is not involved with any sort of political church games. Well, at least not beyond helping me contact my bosses in Chicago every other night or so. He knows about the Kindred, and he knows about the Second Inquisition. He opted to avoid the latter in order to keep the former from oppression, because according to him, it's the right thing to do. I know there's got to be something wrong with him, some selfish motivation maybe. I haven't nailed it down yet, but it doesn't feel like he's making an effort to hide it, so I'm giving him a pass. By the way, I hope you don't mind, I finally took the liberty of asking how your parents are doing. Thank you, Father, but you shouldn't have. Not a problem. A priest at St. Stanislaus Kostka is a very good friend. He says your parents started showing up every Sunday again. Front rows. Your father is looking better and better. It makes me feel nothing, but I still give him a token nod and a grateful smile. Thank you, Father Leonard. Now if you'll excuse me, the sunrise is almost here. Yes, be careful, and God bless you. Amen. Goodbye, Julia. I'll let you off the hook this time, but next time you won't be so lucky, alright? Sure, just one more thing on my never-ending list of events I'm not looking forward to. Guess it's time to call it a night. I'm home. Finally. You doing alright? Fine, I guess. Why aren't you asleep? Hang on, my girlfriend's hot. Also, does she know? Is this a Masquerade breach? I feel like it might be. I figured it's finally time for me to become more of a night owl. We've talked about making our schedule sync better. Watch your vitamin D. I'd kill to have your skin. I'd be ashamed to waste it. Shouldn't have smoked so much before you got bitten, sweetheart. Should have shared your skincare routine with me back when I was still breathing. I can't just be going around sharing my one secret weapon. It's top secret stuff, MK Ultra level, Jeffrey Epstein's current whereabouts level. I'd have to kill you if I told you. So this game says Epstein didn't kill himself, because he didn't. Fair. My kind also has a secret anti-aging weapon after all, but hey, if you don't care about that. Psh, what would that be, adrenochrome? Close. Spirit cooking. Just so we're clear, you're shitting me, right? Of course I'm shitting you. We just drink blood. Nothing too satanic about that. Funny, because whenever I see your chest, I'm surprised there's no cross-shaped burn mark there. Well, since you mention it, never mind. I feel just a little more self-conscious than usual tonight. Don't. You want me to do your makeup before you go to sleep? No need. No need? Weren't you supposed to have some sort of big party tomorrow night? Heh. I was involved in the backstage stuff. What makes you think I was invited? Because you're the coolest, cutest, and most all-around amazing person I know. They'd be insane not to put you on the short list. Believe it or not, but most vampires are pretty insane. Interdimensional psychic vampire level insane? Because that's how crazy they'd have to be to ignore you like this. Yeah, I would say so. Fuck them then. Big bunch of posh dicks. They hate you because they ain't you, but they'll see. Jesus, how do you do it? Do what? You always insult me with so much of this weird, stupid positivity that I can't react to without it completely shifting my mental attitude. How do you do it? Oh, the answer is easy. You remember how I told you we have this spiritual connection? I can sense what you feel and want. I can sense what you can sense what I feel too if you really focus. Yeah, I think I called it a big load of bullshit. Said a girl who talks to ghosts. But watch this, Agent Scully. I sense you feeling down and realize what you need, what you really need to end this night. She points to one of her drawers. It's the one where she keeps her supply of... ketamine? Come on. What? No, wrong drawer. We're not meeting demons, we're meeting angels. MDMA? Ding ding ding. Took it a half hour ago. Perfect timing thanks to our spiritual connection. Ready to fly away? The mood isn't right. I need music. Got a special SoundCloud playlist ready to go, prepared specifically to uplift one Julio Sawinski. Just give me a sign and I'll press play. Jesus, you're impossible. That's why you love me. I hope. I give up. Come here, let me have a taste of you. Maybe this one time, the high won't end. Well, that was hot. Anyway, I think that's a good place to leave the episode. So, thank you guys so very much for watching the video. Perhaps in the next time we'll meet more vampire friends, go to this party that Prince Panhard has planned for us. I wanted to get that P alliteration going. And then, yeah, hopefully our girlfriend doesn't die. So, if you want to see more videos like this one, please consider subscribing. And until then, I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.